Who is Rohit Chopra? This is the Mortgage Banking live stream. Welcome. This is the Mortgage Banking live stream. Today is January 26th, 2021. I'm Troy Garris Horn. We are here not just to entertain, but to connect you with people and information to help educate. We are talking about politics. We're talking about business. We're talking about regulation of the mortgage industry. And if you have any questions or any topics that you want addressed, you send them to me and I will try as hard as I can to get them on. My contact information is below in the description in this YouTube channel. And you just send it over. You can text it, you can email me, you can call me offline, and I will try to get those topics and information to you and for you for this distribution on this live stream. A couple shouts out. On February 9th, the MBA is having a webinar, has a bunch of webinars. This is the National MBA. Everyone knows that I love the National MBA. It's one of the chief and premier organizations in this industry, in this nation. And it does a lot of great things. One of them is going to be a webinar that I am on with Justin Wiseman. Justin's actually a fantastic individual over there, a good lawyer, a good person, just the kind of person that you want to know and meet. And Justin and I will be talking about the top 5 areas of LO litigation and how to avoid those problems. That's February 9th. For MBA members, this is one of the things I love about MBA. For MBA members, it's free. If you're not a member, there's a charge to sign up for the webinar, so join. Make it free to yourself. A couple other events coming up, February 22nd and 23rd, Texas MBA, which is the state version of the Mortgage Bankers Association for the state of Texas. Also a great organization, also an organization which I'm happily and always and eagerly involved. February 22nd and 23rd is the TMBA's secondary marketing conference, and that's going to be virtual, of course. Check that out. Going to be some great information, some great speakers there. Definitely something you won't want to miss. And then this is a legislative session year for the state of Texas, so the TMBA is also having its Advocacy Day 1 month later, March 22nd, 23rd. So make sure that you get involved there. Texas MBA has a great state level organization, and it always is attuned to the various issues that are going on at the state level for state law and state politics, something that you will want to be involved in. A couple other shouts out before we get started. Jeff Bolin, Jeff, great seeing you here. Christina Sacco, thank you. Christina. Ruth Lee, also. Ruth, good to see you. It's been a while, Ruth. I hope everything is well with you. Doreen Gusar over at Roostify. Doreen, you owe me one. You know what I'm talking about. I hope everyone is having a great time. Thank you for the comments, the support, and just so many wonderful people here. By the way, I mentioned this last time too, but we're hiring. So if you know some good regulatory attorneys, send them our way. Not from clients, we don't hire from clients, but if you know some good regulatory attorneys, or if you are a good regulatory attorney in the mortgage banking space in particular, but even if you are just related or tangential somehow to that, give us a call. And we are always looking for good people, and we're looking for some people right this minute. So do that. Politics. Switch gears for a second on you. Janet Yellen has now been confirmed as the Secretary of Treasury. You'll see her signature on your money, to the extent people use money anymore, coming up very soon. She was confirmed 84 to 15, one person not voting, but 84 to 15 confirmation in the Senate. And she is going to be the first woman ever in that role. And it's about time, right? It's about time. And Yellen, and I think this is part of what is true about a lot of what we are seeing coming out of the new administration. There is stability. There are known quantities that are involved in a lot of what is going on, and I think that especially given what has happened, especially in recent times, this is probably just what the doctor ordered in terms of the approach. Just a steady hand, trying to get people back working together, trying to reach across aisles to some degree. There's still going to be it's still going to be politics. It's still going to be a lot going on, and in some ways we see this with the impeachment hearings that are the trial that is currently being scheduled and set up. We see a lot of discord still, but I think we're going to be able to hopefully focus on the more important pieces of what is going on in the world and get back to some level of normalcy. And I'm hoping that that's true in the very near future. Switch to business for a second. Existing home sales, this is information from NAR, National Association of Realtors. Existing home sales are up. And these are some pretty interesting numbers, guys, to think about what these numbers mean. So the existing home sale numbers are up a little under 1% for the month of January, but that's NAR reports that that's the highest level. It's hitting the highest level since 2006. 2006. Think about that. History doesn't repeat itself, but you can hear reverberations. Existing home sales also up about 5.6% from 2019. So it's up from the month prior, and it's also up over from 2019, up close to approaching 6%. The median home price for existing homes also is up close to 13%. The median price up close to 13%, and inventory down. Again, this has been the ongoing problem. And if there's less inventory, there are more buyers. What does that do? It drives up home prices. Everyone knows that. It's basic economics, right? So something to think about, something to keep an eye on. And, this is one of the drivers of this market. Mortgage apps are down slightly, just under 2%. And that information coming out of the MBA, again, the MBA, just a fantastic source of information. If you need any of this data, you need any of this information, just give me a buzz and I'll send it over to you. Loans in forbearance is up slightly. It's hovering around 5.38%. And that's a number that, we've seen it get down to around this level, and it's stubbornly stuck in this little general area. And fortunately, we have it looks like we have some additional relief coming. And, this is probably a good sign in this quirky market that we're in. But there are still a lot of people unemployed. There's still a lot that's on the horizon we just don't know about. There is, much to think about. And so this is something we're going to have to stay attuned to. So let's switch to regulation for a second. So most of you, or many of you at least, know that Rohit Chopra has been nominated as has been selected as the nominee for director of the CFPB. So let's take a brief moment. We'll do this more depth a little bit later, in a later show. But let's talk a little bit about some of what Rohit Chopra, what his resume sort of speaks to. So from April of 2018, he was appointed. Well, he was confirmed to be a commissioner at the Federal Trade Commission. So he was over there for some time. It was unanimous confirmation. So I know we hear a lot about all of the bickering and the spats and the disputes about, the people on the Hill. But it's not always the case. That's mostly what gets in the news, of course, because it's, news is, the purpose of news is selling advertising, really. And so, but a lot of times there is a lot of work together. So he was unanimously confirmed back in April of 2018 to be one of the commissioners of the FTC. He was involved in a lot of different matters over at the FTC. And I'll put down in the description a link to a CNBC interview from one of the matters in which he was involved, which he dissented in a vote on a settlement with Facebook. But he was over the CFPB for a while. He had also worked for a significant amount of time on the implementation team when the CFPB was originally created, and he became the assistant director of the CFPB for student lending and student loans over there. He worked, again, crossing aisles. He worked with Holly Petraeus on a report regarding the impact of student lending on military families. And when he was at the CFPB, the agency went after a number of different, in particular, trade schools. And two of those trade schools were sued, and those schools later dissolved. And that it was a viewpoint that this type of school was preying on people. At least those were the allegations, and student lending was a problem. Now, I think a lot of people believe that student lending is a problem, and people can disagree on the reasons there, but that was certainly something that happened while he was at the CFPB and focused on these issues. He also worked at McKinsey, consulting firm, and so I think bottom line, he came out of the Ivy Leagues. He's a smart individual, aggressive in his legal approach, and he has a consumer protection minded point of view. So is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You can and people will disagree. One thing I like is that if I'm working across the table with somebody who is smart, it always means that they can understand my arguments. They may not agree with me, which means they're wrong. Kidding aside, they may not agree with me, but at least they can understand my arguments, and they can articulate arguments that make sense and that I can understand. And I think that's, as a general matter, it's a helpful and a good thing. Again, I'm going to put a description down to a CNBC interview with him regarding a dissenting opinion that he wrote in the Facebook matter back in 2019. You can hear it in his own words. You don't have to have me describe it to you. But I think what you will see is that it's a person who you can expect to be on point, sharp, at the helm, thinking about what issues he is focused on, and he will pursue those aggressively. And so, again, good or bad, doesn't really matter. But what does matter is that you have somebody there that is smart and aggressive, and that's what you're going to have to contend with. So what do? You do business well. You do a good job. You provide good service. That is what gets people good business. A couple shouts out as we depart. Laura Brandeo. Laura, thank you so much. Always appreciate the support. Carrie Goodman, Kevin Peranio, Brent Duhame, James Eiley. James, I want to get together with you soon again. Good man. I won't say anything here, but James, I'm glad you're doing well. Chance, man, thank you, Chance. Thanks to everybody who helps support this show. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the helping us in the supporting role with everything that you do, and get me your information that you want on this show, and we will make sure to do that. By the way, we keep getting comments and information that gives us ideas of things that people want to see on here. So I do appreciate that, and we will talk to you very soon. Have a fantastic week. This is the Mortgage Banking live stream. I'm Troy at Garris Horn. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and make 2021